What happens when one man makes so much money that he can't even count it, let alone spend it legally? Pablo Escobar, the Colombian drug lord, once made so much cash that rats literally ate millions of dollars stored in his warehouses. But Escobar wasn't just a kingpin of cocaine, he was also a master of hiding and laundering money. His empire, worth billions, relied on an intricate web of banks, businesses, and creative schemes to keep the cash flowing undetected. In today's documentary, we're going to uncover exactly how Escobar laundered his fortune, the unbelievable tricks he used, and the global networks that helped him turn dirty cocaine money into clean, usable wealth. Before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more gripping documentaries on crime, history, and power. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The Cash Overflow. By the 1980s, Pablo Escobar had built the Medellín Cartel into the most powerful drug trafficking organization in the world. At its peak, the cartel was smuggling up to 15 tons of cocaine into the United States every single day. The profits were astronomical. Forbes magazine even listed Escobar as one of the richest men alive, estimating his net worth at more than $30 billion at one point. That's more than many Fortune 500 companies at the time. But there was one problem: too much cash. Escobar earned so much money that it became a logistical nightmare. Reports say the cartel was spending $2,500 a month just on rubber bands to bundle the cash. His brother, Roberto Escobar, revealed that up to 10% of the cartel's money was lost each year to rats, mold, or water damage simply because they couldn't store it properly. This mountain of untraceable US dollars had to be hidden, invested, or transformed into legal money. And that's where Escobar's genius, or rather criminal innovation, came into play. Chapter 2. The Smuggling of Money. Just as cocaine was smuggled into the US, cash had to be smuggled back into Colombia. Escobar's cartel used planes, boats, and even submarines to transport hundreds of millions of dollars in bulk. One famous method was hollowing out airplane seats and stuffing them with cash. Pilots would then fly the money from Miami, Los Angeles, or Houston back to Medellín. Sometimes entire suitcases filled with dollars were checked onto commercial flights, bribing airport security to look the other way. But simply bringing the money home wasn't enough. If Escobar spent it openly, it would raise suspicion. He needed to launder it, transform dirty money into seemingly legitimate wealth. Chapter 3. The Rise of Money Laundering. Escobar tapped into an old trick used by the mafia and other criminal networks: front businesses. He invested millions into legitimate companies, nightclubs, taxi services, construction firms, pharmacies, and even soccer teams. These businesses would act as a mask, claiming inflated profits while secretly channeling cartel money into the system. For example, a nightclub that actually made $10,000 in profit might report $500,000 on its books. That extra $490,000 was Escobar's cocaine money disguised as legitimate income. But Escobar didn't just stop at Colombia. He built a vast international laundering network, taking advantage of tax havens, offshore accounts, and complicit banks. Chapter 4. Banks and Offshore Accounts. In the 1980s, international banking was poorly regulated. Escobar's cartel exploited this loophole by working with corrupt bankers and setting up accounts in places like Panama, the Cayman Islands, and Switzerland. One famous example was the Bank of Credit and Commerce International, BCCI, which was later exposed as a global hub for money laundering. Cartels, dictators, and terrorists all used BCCI to move billions without detection. Escobar's money flowed through these accounts, often split into small deposits to avoid suspicion, a technique now known as smurfing. By breaking down huge amounts of cash into smaller, less noticeable deposits, the cartel could slip past regulations. Those deposits would then be wired internationally, invested in real estate, or disguised through fake companies. Chapter 5. The Black Market Peso Exchange. One of Escobar's most brilliant laundering strategies was using the black market peso exchange. Here's how it worked. Colombian drug lords had US dollars from cocaine sales in America. Meanwhile, Colombian businesses wanted dollars to import goods like electronics or cars from the US. But buying dollars legally came with taxes and restrictions. So Escobar's cartel would sell their illicit dollars at a discount to Colombian importers. The businesses would then use those dollars to buy goods which were shipped back to Colombia and sold. The profits went to the cartel, now disguised as legitimate business revenue. It was a win-win. Importers got cheaper dollars, and Escobar cleaned his drug money. This system was so effective that even today, elements of it are still used in Latin America. Chapter 6. Real Estate and the Hacienda Napoles. Escobar also laundered money through real estate. He purchased vast amounts of land in Colombia, including his legendary estate, Hacienda Napoles. This property was so extravagant that it had a private zoo with elephants, giraffes, and hippos, a Formula One racetrack, and even a private bullfighting arena. But beyond showing off his wealth, these purchases served a purpose. Real estate transactions were a perfect way to wash dirty cash. Escobar would buy land cheaply, renovate it on paper, and then claim it was worth millions more. The inflated value allowed him to explain away large amounts of money. Chapter 7. Cash Burial and Hidden Stashes. Despite all these laundering efforts, Escobar still had too much cash, so he resorted to something extraordinary, burying it. In rural Colombia, Escobar's men dug pits and buried millions of dollars in plastic barrels. Some of these stashes have been recovered decades later, while others remain hidden in the jungles. Roberto Escobar estimated that billions are still buried somewhere in Colombia, forgotten after Escobar's death. For the drug lord, burying money was a desperate solution when no laundering scheme could keep up with the flow of cash. Chapter 8. Philanthropy and Politics. Another method Escobar used was philanthropy. He built housing projects, sports fields, and schools in poor neighborhoods of Medellín. On the surface, this made him look like a generous benefactor. But behind the scenes, it provided yet another channel for funneling cartel money into community projects without raising alarms. Escobar even used this strategy to build political influence, funding campaigns, and buying votes. By mixing philanthropy with money laundering, he turned dirty cocaine profits into a tool for power and popularity. Chapter 9. The Fall of Escobar's Money Network. Eventually, Escobar's laundering empire began to crumble. International banking laws became stricter. U.S. agencies like the DEA and FBI cracked down on suspicious accounts. And Colombia itself faced pressure to shut down cartel-front businesses. By the early 1990s, Escobar was on the run, and much of his fortune was inaccessible. Billions in cash rotted in fields or was seized by authorities. Ironically, despite being one of the richest criminals in history, when Escobar was finally killed in 1993, his family struggled to secure money. Much of his empire was frozen, destroyed, or lost. Pablo Escobar's story is not just about cocaine or violence, it's also about the dark art of money laundering. From nightclubs and soccer teams to offshore banks and buried treasure, his methods reveal just how creative and dangerous organized crime can be when it comes to hiding wealth. Even today, Escobar's techniques inspire modern cartels and criminals around the world. His empire may have fallen, but the lessons of how he laundered money remain a chilling blueprint for financial crime. If you found this documentary fascinating, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like the video, and share it with friends who love true crime and history. And tell us in the comments, do you think cartels today are still using Escobar-style laundering tricks, or have they evolved into something even more sophisticated?